When Dirk Cutter sits down to plan his repetitions and practices for training camp, he's in a bit of a bind. He may disagree, but he's got to get reps to Ryan Fitzpatrick that are very meaningful, but keep Jameis Winston fresh. How in the world do you schedule practice in camp?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that it's going to be really interesting how he divvies up those starter minutes, especially in the early parts of training camp. I think, knowing that Fitzpatrick's going to be the quarterback from weeks 1 to 3, he'll probably get most of the first team reps in that third week of the preseason, because that's normally when all the starters kind of play. But how much do you give Jameis Winston, knowing that he's going to be the guy coming back, or at least you assume he's going to be the guy coming back week 4 and beyond? So I think they'll keep him plenty fresh. I think you're going to see an even dose of first team reps in the early parts of training camp, but then that third and fourth week, I think you're going to see a lot of Ryan Fitzpatrick in week 3, and then when the fourth week of preseason comes around, I think you're going to see him really take over, basically be taking all those starter reps basically in week 4.
How critical is camp for Jameis in that the combinations and the Deshaun Jacksons and staying as fresh as he can before he goes off and then has to come back and doesn't feel like he's trying to start over at least?
Yeah, no, that's a big deal. No question about it. They're going to have to start working right away, almost even more than probably what we saw last year, because he is going to take those 3 weeks off. And it's not just a 3 weeks off if he's not playing the games. He's not practicing with a team. So that's going to be a lot of missed time that he's going to possibly have with those guys. They're going to be progressing early on in the season, as you would hope a starting quarterback and his starting receivers would normally together, but a little bit of a unique circumstances. So what he's going to have to do in those first couple of weeks of training camp is really get that chemistry down. And I think that they've been doing a good job even beforehand in the offseason, getting together, making sure they're making up for the lost time that's about to come up. But you've got to hit the ball rolling, no question about it. And so these first 2 weeks of training camp, very essential to how they're going to have chemistry moving forward in the season.
And we didn't get to see much of Ryan Griffin last year, and he was injured during the preseason.
Yep.
This is also a critical time for him because he's essentially your backup for 3 weeks, assuming Ryan Fitzpatrick gets the call there in week 1.
Yeah, no question. This is a big year for Ryan Griffin in general, because I believe this is his 5th year in the league. I believe it's his 3rd year with the Buccaneers, and so it's kind of make or break time for Ryan Griffin. When his contract comes up, do they believe in him enough to maybe become a solidified number 2 guy, perhaps even a number 1? Whatever it is, they've also got to get him in the mix there to find out what they have to see if it's worth it bringing him back, if it's worth starting him maybe a couple of these preseason games, who knows. But there's no doubt about it. There is a storyline at all 3 of these quarterback spots of how you're going to divvy up the starter and even the second team roles. Ryan Griffin's going to play a big part in that, because Ryan Fitzpatrick's not going to play forever. So is Ryan Griffin going to be the guy in the future to maybe be a backup or not? They've got to take steps towards that this year.